Hey people, I've been reading in the book of John, and it's been explaining this old Egyptian calendar a lot better than what the Egyptologists are getting from it. But this was written by Bobby Bull. He was about the same time as King Tut there. And Thoth had sent him to bring the knowledge to the men, and that was the God of the writers, the scribes. And so this is where all your words for God come from. You deity, dehooty, thought, taught. You see it here with the tet in there, which could be changed to the D or the T, and that's why all the different pronunciations, and it means thought. And, nothing was before he wrote it in. Nothing had a name. He wrote all knowledge. And you see down here in his name, this is that Egyptian T, which some people are reading as a D. And this is the serpent, the serpent like collect, the tet. And so it reads as a T or a D. And so that's where they're getting this THUTI. But that's probably the one thing it doesn't say. You see how they write a couple different ways. And so this is a TI, and so they'll see it here and they'll suggest that this is a TI, a TD. But they're forgetting the enter here. And you break this down, it could be a D or a T. And so it's hard to figure, but break it down, and it means to collect. And this chet, chet means to divide. It looks like it means to twist, but it means to separate the rope, look and see what it's made of. So that's thought and knowledge. And you collect and divide what? WTINTR, what enter. Collect and divide what entry. Back the other way, the enter it which. And collect and divide what enter it which. They spoke English. It makes me think that this read as a DH, the dick, the control, to control what enter it which. And so where it is, that he wrote this great magic book and there's no trace of it, but that was it. It was called the Bible. And his real name is Author. And it's all over this chapter, 1 John. But, here's his name right here. It's where your word autograph come from, the autographs. And he was the T. He was the writings. The letter T means writings. And so that's his X autograph, the taught. And so this AE becomes ES, that taught his graphs. It's taught his graphs in around it on, periton, around it on, plan onto. That's the word for a round calendar, a periton plan onto. And that's leading astray. And so they'll tell you, that the ancient Greeks and Egyptians, they thought planets were just wandering star gods, and that's where the word wander come from, is the word plan, to cause to wander. And it makes no sense, Do you plan on wandering? Wander is what you do when you don't plan. And that's a plan on to. Not just a plan on to, but it's a plan on to tune them in, the planets, the days. And tautographs them in a periton. And so it's trying to say, it's a periton, you can see it, but it's also around, perimeter, the perimeter on the plan on tune them as. And then it tells you how to get charisma here, the anointed one. But all through this chapter, that's the only thing it's been talking about is the old calendar from the monkey. And you can see it in this last word. This is what has been begotten. It's a jigginitage. And jigging is day by day, GG, day by day, and jigging day by day. And it looked like it's a nettage, as in what you acquire day by day, but it's not. The second N turns into a Y, and it's yetage, what is yet to come, day by day to come, is what has been begotten. So I know I've been skipping all through this chapter. I said I was going to continue on, but I read on down. It was kind of difficult, and I seen this was real easy. Everybody could get, and taught too. The Thoth, the teacher of all, and taught his graphsmen, appeared on the planon tunamaz, and demise to charisma of elevate, of out of me way in a min, and of cree on each it in it is, did a sketch 'em as all is too. And so this charisma, this and demise, demise is your death, and amise is a creation. And it's also, you see the line above, this is the EYE, and eyes to anoint. And so this anoint, it means to cry's name. And I believe this mark up here means, when you read it in Spanish, you roll the R, charisma. But it means, to cry shame. The shame is the name, to cry's name. And that's what you're trying to do, is get the name out of the calendar. And omise to cries the name of elevate, to raise up the name. When you christen somebody, you christen them, you give them a new title, a new name. And I anoint thee, Sir. I anoint thee, Duke, the charisma of elevate, of out of me weighing 'em in. Weighing 'em in is, when you're buying a cow, you're weighing 'em in. On your final day, you're getting weighed in, and me weighing 'em in. And of the creon, the charisma was the cry of the name when he is anointed, and the creon, the type of, and not just any type of, but the type of a god. The creon, each it in it is, did a sketch, did a sketch 'em as. The creon, each it did a sketch 'em as, on the different types. And so it appears that, they all have two left hands, except this one here with two right hands. And the Egyptologists would tell you it's because they didn't know how to draw an opposite hand. And that's bull. You see it in the same picture. Sometimes people have their two hands. Sometimes people have both left and both right. And it's in this word, in did ask, is the yod, the hand, a sketch. In homage to the chrysm of elevate, of out of me weighing 'em in, and of cree on each it in it is, did a sketch 'em as all is to, out of the chrysm, the christen, the give 'em a name, the cries made hand as key. The cries made, the yod, the hand as key, is keyum as a around a font, a font on, a letter, a symbol, a font on. All these things are symbols. The font on, and all this is it in the wokest in pursuit as, and kados, and according to, in the god as, and according to said he did accent, to answer the question. The said did, said did the accent, and said it accentum as me vet, me let out, to vet, me tell you, in ought of, in ought to. My vet and auto, that type of person, the type of person that is vettinado. And so kados, meaning according to, as, going in the column under. And, the edit, EDIT, the edit taxon, and that's what he's doing. He's taxing everything, giving everything a name, and editing it so it all fits together in the story. The edit taxon is taught you, and according to, as the edit taxon in its taxonomy, in its group, taxon, and where it's edited to, the edit taxon, whom has me vettinado, who has me spitting it out. And none, continuing him, and none tell not me vettinado, and none tell not, and tell all is what it says, and tell all me vettinado, in is on, in AEES, in is on a favorite, and don't tell none that you have a favorite, and none tell not is vettinado, in his own favorite is coming. The favorite has coming. The favorite has coming. Parisian, the Frenchman, P-A-R. The second one is a I. And I'm sure that had the meaning, the Pharisees. But, the A-N is, the sky gods, and the Y-A-N is time. And they'll never tell you how Paris got its name. But it was the Parisian. And we might look and see if it's the bold one. And I would guess it was Horus over here, the Parisians. But we might have boldness, makes me think, is coming for Yasi on. And you'll see this, the IHS, the second R becomes an I. The IHS is the base word for Jesus, and it's the yes, and you'll see it all throughout here. They'll double up letters before the HS. And yes, usually means the things that you're allowed, the yeses. And coming for yes on. And you see the Hebrew word for the day, on the first days, in forges on. And so that's possibly, Horus, the teacher of blacksmiths. And none tell not from vettin out of. In his own favorite has come in Parisian. And much a shown to men. A mission, is telling a mission, but a ission is not telling, and not telling to men. Is shown, and the a in front means not. A not is shown to men of out of in the Pharisee. That's definitely the sect of the old law, in the Pharisee out of. And then you see here, this is the on, the heavens. But when the next word starts with the E, it becomes a V-E. And have, H-A-V-E. And have the hand, have yod it. And have hand it. Audi divas is it in. And have handed Audi divas, should he divas is it in. And this looks like a word for a vagina. The skeed, S-K-E-D, that's the clinical word for vagina. Skeed or vagina. The sheath, or a stage of, in the critical stage in that period of time. In a gina, I believe that's where they force the gina, meaning the vagina. But, the gina skate in that stage. Audi a phase apogen. Then devotion. It's out of jiganetage, day by day. In the devotion, it's out of day by day. And none tell not me vettinado. In his own favorite has come in forges on. And much a is shown to men, and much not is shown to men. This isn't not, this is much. This is the not part right here. And much A is shown to men. Of aught of in the Pharisee of two. And that looked like, peruse. You're perusing around, hitting all the women. And the peruse of two. Have handed Audi the devos, the divas it in. Is it in the Gina skeet Audi and phase of Pogen, then devotion, it's aught of jig and knottage, day by day in yet had. And so it looked like the old sect of the Pharisees were named after the planet, that goes around perusing, the moon, the one is perusing in a different shack every night. But I definitely know it's a planet, because it's perusing. And they said plain out here that it was a planet to plan on to. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.